There is a psychological shift that happens so quietly most people never notice it happening. There's no breakdown, no dramatic moment, no clear decision, just a slow, emotional withdrawal. Before we continue, one thing matters. This channel explores the darker side of psychology, the patterns that shape behavior without announcing themselves. If you leave now, the algorithm may never bring this back to you, and you may miss explanations that feel uncomfortably familiar. Emotional withdrawal doesn't begin with indifference. It begins with effort, trying to be understood, trying to connect, trying to explain yourself again and again. At some point, a mind notices something painful. The effort isn't being met. Words are misunderstood. Emotions are minimized. Needs are inconvenient. So the brain adapts, not out of bitterness, but out of efficiency. It learns that less expression means less friction. Less honesty means fewer consequences. Less emotional presence means less disappointment. This is how people slowly pull back. They still show up. They still function. They still smile when expected. But internally, they've stepped away. At first, this feels like relief. No more emotional exhaustion. No more explaining. No more hoping for different outcomes. The nervous system relaxes, but what feels like peace is often emotional shutdown. Withdrawal doesn't remove pain, it removes vulnerability. And vulnerability is where connection lives. Over time, something subtle happens. Joy becomes muted. Curiosity fades. Even success feels strangely empty. Life becomes manageable, but distant. This is why some people feel like observers in their own lives. They didn't lose emotion, they compressed it. Because feeling deeply once required too much energy. And here's the darker truth. The longer emotional withdrawal lasts, the more it feels like identity. I'm just private. I don't need much. I prefer being alone. Sometimes that's true. But often, it's adaptation masquerading as preference. A system that learned early that closeness came with a cost. That being seen meant being judged. That openness wasn't safe. So the mind chose distance, but withdrawal is not healing. It's a pause button pressed for too long. Healing doesn't mean forcing connection. It means learning how to stay present without abandoning yourself, because withdrawal keeps you protected. But it also keeps life at arm's length, and eventually, the emptiness becomes heavier than the fear that created it. If this felt quietly accurate, this channel explores the psychology behind self-protection and identity. Subscribe if you want to understand the patterns most people never stop to question. And tell me in the comments, have you ever noticed yourself slowly pulling away without ever deciding to?